Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Reviews may vary. I'm Kenya. I wanted to just tell you a little bit about what I'm reading right now. I know that a couple videos ago I talked about my TBR cart, which I still love like a sweet precious little baby, and it has all of the books I was going to read lined up so nicely. And I talked about which books I was going to read next. It was going to be this one and then this one and then this one, and it was going to be so wonderful. And I proceeded to read other things instead. So, one thing I read instead of that was Here Comes the Sun, which is a book about a Nigerian woman who is really focused on her younger sister getting a good education and being able to pull the family up out of poverty. So the woman, her name is Margot. She has been selling her body since she was 14, and she starts to really build a booming business in order to make money for her younger sister. The younger sister, Thandi, is really facing a lot of insecurities related to being dark-skinned and has started spending money on bleaching cream. And then their mother, Dolores, is a horrible person in general. Really, all three women have been through some fairly significant trauma that they don't all know about each other. And the book is about their relationships, how they interact with each other, how their secrets come out. Margot has been having a relationship with somebody that the townspeople don't like and keeping it a secret. So I would definitely recommend this book for anybody who likes realistic fiction, particularly if you like stories. Like I said, this one takes, maybe I didn't say this. Maybe I said she's Nigerian. That's so ridiculous. This book takes place in Jamaica. So if you like that kind of story, it talks a little bit about the tourism and kind of how the economy of Jamaica has changed over time, and some of the things that the folks who are native to the island have had to deal with and come up with in order to survive it becoming a big tourist attraction. And part of a subplot, actually probably the primary plot, is related to Margot's boss trying to build a bigger, better resort where their family lives. So Here Comes the Sun by Nicole Dennis Ben. It's definitely a great read. So check that one out. I'm reading two other books right now. One in print, Sharks in the Time of Saviors by Kawai Strong Washburn. The book, so far, I'm maybe a third of the way through. It is kind of centered around these three siblings so far. One of them, the middle sibling, was conceived on the night when his parents saw some mythical caravan or this mythical lights parade on the island. This book takes place on Hawaii. Starts on Hawaii. Starts on one of the islands of Hawaii. And it's told from the perspective first of the sibling's mother, who kind of talks a little bit about their childhood, especially this middle child who had a really weird experience happen to him when he was younger, where he fell overboard from a boat and some sharks delivered him safe to his mother and back to the boat. And since then, he's had some really cool powers that people have been kind of taking advantage of. So he's a middle sibling. And then the older sibling, Dean, is really kind of angry and not as smart and resentful of all the attention that the middle sibling is getting. And then the younger sibling is a girl who is also very smart and feels very ignored by her family because she doesn't have the talent and skills that the middle sibling has. So where I am in the book, it's about a third of the way through, and the point of view has switched to being the voice of each of the siblings as opposed to the mother telling the story. Sometimes it's the middle sibling or the older sibling or the younger sibling in like 2008 or 2006, and they're each telling their own story from their perspective. So I'm excited to see where it goes and what happens with these siblings. When I was looking for something, I think I was looking for a book quote for my Instagram. Some of the things that people have asked about the book are to explain the ending. So I'm wondering if I'm also going to be confused about the ending. But lots of books I think that are very realistic, but have this element of someone being touched by gods, or there being a lot of faith from any of the family members. Sometimes those endings can be confusing. So I'm excited to see what happens with that book. Right now, the siblings are spread out in 3 different areas of the country, and they talk with each other, and they all have lots of feelings about their parents and all the attention the middle sibling gets. And the middle sibling feels a lot of pressure to fix things because of his talent and potentially God-given gifts. So I'm excited about that one. The other one that I'm reading that I just started today, and I'm about 60% done because it's through audiobook and I had to mow my lawn, is Mrs. Fletcher. So that is a series. It's a season, maybe. Like, it was only maybe 6 or 8 episodes on Netflix that I watched, and I really liked it. Catherine Hahn plays the lead, and from the series, she is a woman in her early 40s whose son has gone off to college, and she's bored, she's divorced, and she starts taking college classes and becomes intrigued with a young man in her class. In the book, same situation. Brandon, her son, goes off to college, is really not looking back. He's a douchebag. Same from the book to the movie. Nobody really likes him. He was a big fish in a little pond in high school, and he goes to college, and he's, people don't really appreciate his sort of privileged outlook on life. And Mrs. Fletcher, the mom, E. Fletcher, she is at home. She goes to college classes, and she's really interested, or kind of has a crush on her, somebody that she works with, a woman, and she's not really sure how she feels about that. In both the book and the movie, in the book and the TV show, she has started watching a lot of pornography. So we see some glimpses in her mind of her being, when she's out in the series, for example, when she's out at a grocery store, she's looking at this woman who's standing there giving out samples, and she starts imagining this porno scene happening. And that kind of happens in the book as well. It's interesting the interest that's flipped from the movie to the book. There's some pretty good discussion around some transgender issues, because the class that she's taking is gender and social something, expectations or something. Is a community college class that she's taking just for fun, to get out of the house, because she's feeling a bit like a loser right now. So I was really interested to read it when I found out it was a Tom Perrotta book. So I've read 2 of his other books, and liked them. So I'm enjoying it. I also like being able to compare it to the series, which I liked. The series ends with an interesting that I'm really curious if that was in the book or not, because the relationships between the characters in the book are a little bit different than what they were in the TV show. So did they ruin it, or was it better, or was it worse, or will I go back and rewatch the whole season to wash the taste out of my mouth from the book? We'll have to wait and see. So those are my currently reading books. If you've read any of those books, feel free to drop a list. I don't know if I know I'm not the only one who has a whole TBR planned out and then goes and finds a different book. I also found this book in the bookstore while I was out of town at Judy Bugg's Books in Columbus, Georgia. And it's called The Brief History of the Dead. So if that title wasn't intriguing enough to me as it is, the bookstore owner said it was probably one of his favorite books 2 years ago when he read it, and gave me a little bit of a brief synopsis, which I don't even remember at this point. But my guess is this one is going to be next. Although putting it on this TBR cart might actually be the touch of doom for reading a book, but we'll see what happens. All right, that's it. Currently reading. What do you got? See you next time.